Hi there! In this video we are going to check out our Employee Directory demo app inside Dropsource. So this is what the app does when it runs. It presents a list of employees for a fictional company, and this data is all coming from a REST API. The user can search for employees. They can view departments, and each department also has a list of employees. They can also view office locations within the organisation, and each one of those has a list of employees. And they can view a list of favourites. These would be people the user contacts regularly. When we go into an employee record, we can see some more detail, and we can email or call the employee. We can also view other employees in the same department and in the same office location. We can actually troubleshoot our API calls in the simulator using the network logging tool, which is useful when you're working on your data integration. So let's take a brief look at how this app is put together inside the Dropsource editor. This is the iOS version of the app. We have an Android version as well. You'll see the pages in the app here on the left. Each time we select one, you'll see it on the canvas, and you'll notice that the data isn't there. That's because it's all pulled from the API when the app runs. Each page has a selection of UI elements in it. We get these from the elements here on the left of the editor. If you don't see an element you need, we can add to these, no problem. And when we select an element in a page, we can set its style properties on the right. And we can also respond to user interaction events, such as an element being tapped by the user. And this is how we build our app's behaviour. This app uses some default navigation components in the form of the nav bar at the top and the tab bar at the bottom of some of the pages. That actually provides some automatic functionality for page navigation right out of the box. Some of our pages have quite a few elements in them, so we'll often use the element tree here on the right to access those elements. And as you can see, some of them are nested inside other elements in the page. Now, when we ran the app, you saw the data coming through from the API. That is all set up here in the API tab on the right of the editor. We can add new APIs in here, provide the authentication setup for them, and we can add requests to the API endpoints from each page in the app that uses that data. So here we have the request that returns the list of employees that we saw on the first page of the app. We can optionally pass a parameter to carry out the search for employees that we saw. And when we get data back from the API, we display it in a table. And the table will populate with however many employees the API sends back when the app runs. Inside each cell, we display the employee details from the API response fields. We also use some local variables for this app. For example, if we go into the department page, we use a page variable here to specify which department we're displaying. And we're passing that into the page during navigation when the user selects a department from the list. We can also manage app-wide data values using device variables on the left here, like the authentication key in this case. And whenever we make any changes to the app, we hit the test button, and that creates a new build of the app that we can run on the simulator or install on a mobile device. So for more detail on how we build this type of functionality, check out our help centre and the fully editable example apps that you can try out inside the editor whenever you create a new project. Any other questions about what you can achieve with Dropsource, don't hesitate to get in touch.